So this is how Giani looks. It is granite paint for laminate countertops. That's one side of the box. It didn't have the color on it, but I guess BB stood for Bombay Black. And that's the other side of the box. Now, what came in the kit, of course, I have 2 rollers, 1 sponge brush. It came with a sponge, practice paper, an instruction video, written instructions, the primer, step 1, the mineral paint to make your countertop look like granite. You have A, B, and C, and then the final top coat. Now, in addition to this, I ordered the sealant, the paintable sealant, but you can get this anywhere. I think it was about $4 with them, but I just went ahead and ordered it. And I also ordered their own countertop cleaner. It was about $8, but you can use mild soap and water. I read that later, so I probably won't order that again. And I ordered additional sponge, not knowing that a sponge came in the kit, so you don't have to order additional sponge. One comes in the kit. So first I'm going to go ahead and start removing any loose caulk, and I only have a couple of joints. I just have a little razor and a butter knife. You just want to kind of get all of that old caulk up and out of the way. As much as possible. Just got a dry cloth to get all that up, because you're going to actually put some more sealant down, a paintable sealant, so that the paint will adhere to it, the primer and the paint. So now you're going to get ready to wash the counters, all of your counters off with a Brillo pad, something that's not super coarse. I suggest SOS pads because it has the soap already on them, and it's a mild steel pad. It's not a really coarse one. So now that I've cleaned my countertops off with the SOS pads and they're dry, I'm getting ready to tape off all of my edges, or anything that you don't want the primer to get on. Just make sure that you tape them off. I have some painter's tape. So this area back here where I'm actually going to be putting my backsplash, I'm not really worried about taping it off because my backsplash is actually going to sit right back here and everything is going to be covered. But this side where it's going to be right next to my paint, I want to make sure that I get a good crisp paint line and tape it off really good, because it won't be a backsplash on this side to hide anything. So now I'm going to just run a bead of the paintable caulk that I ordered. Get it in the crease up here too. I'm just going to take my finger and kind of smush it in the cracks. Messing up my manicure. And this caulk is paintable, so, but you do want to wipe up the excess with a cloth so you don't have a whole lot on the countertops. That looks pretty good. So now that I'm done with all of my preparation, I'm getting ready to roll the primer on. It takes 8 hours for this to dry, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it tonight and then complete the rest of it tomorrow, so it'll have enough time to dry. It says to shake it well. I put a little plastic bag in my tray because I didn't want to have to clean my tray out. And just a tip for rollers, the roller that comes with this is it's not a foam roller, it's the fuzzy one, the nap roller. I think it's called a nap. And I usually take a piece of tape. I usually do a little better than this. And I just kind of wrap the tape around the nap rollers. And that just helps to get any extra lint, because once you put this down, you definitely don't want to have any lint or little particles drying on the surface. With your sponge brush that's included in your kit, start at the back and work your way towards yourself. It'll eliminate you from getting paint all over yourself and clothes, and it's just easy to go ahead and do that back part first. So what I'm doing with my sponge brush is I'm just dipping a little paint on the edge, and since I know I'm putting a backsplash up, I did not take this portion off because you won't see it. So I'm just kind of pouncing it down, all the way down the edge. Let's see. You know, getting it close as possible. Because I notice when I rub it, it seems as if I'm kind of rubbing some of the paint off, so you just kind of want to give a little pounce to it, to the primer. So make sure, like I said, just start from the back. I'm just pouncing in that crease. And just remember, a little bit of primer goes a long way. Kind of have to be careful behind your faucet. I mean, you could tape it off, but I just didn't. If you're nervous about bumping it. Thin coats and just try to overlap your wet lines. Remember to try to overlap your wet lines so you don't have streaking. What it looks like now that I'm all done painting everything, the countertops with the primer. I saw some spots once I got to the other side. I did go back and re-roll over the countertops, but just if you decide to do that because you see any spots, make sure you have enough to complete all of your countertops before you go back and do a second coat. I had enough to go back and do it. It takes 8 hours to dry, so I'm going to let it dry overnight. And also make sure that you keep your temperature at least 72 degrees.